Alright, so in this video, this is like part 4, I believe, of the startup fundraising series, and today I want to talk about naysayers, right? When you go out and fundraise for something, whatever the project it is, right? I've said before that it doesn't matter what you're raising for. It could be an amusement park, a movie, like, you know, a social campaign, a business, doesn't matter. Whatever you're fundraising for and whoever you are, it doesn't matter if you're somebody who is a successful doctor, you could be a single lesbian mother from the middle of, you know, nowhere, whatever. It doesn't matter who you are, you're black, brown, white, you know, yellow, whoever you are, there's always going to be some people who will be naysayers when you are doing what you want, whatever you want to do, right? You could be Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you know, people are going to be naysayers like, oh, you can't do that or you can't do this, right? Now, when it comes to fundraising, the thing is that people will be naysayers, and it could be the very investors that you're reaching out to, like, oh no, this is this and that, whatever. I don't think this is investable. You know, I met so many people, good friends and good people, who just couldn't see that my idea, for example, was investable. They just did not, you know, see any shred of investability in my idea. Let me put it that way, right? Especially since, you know, they didn't even see. I mean, of course, like, it's not just that it was just like at the idea stage and that they didn't have traction, right? It's like people will find all kinds of reasons. So how do you deal with that? The first thing is to do a thought. I want to do a thought experiment, right? By the way, I hope you can hear me after over all this bus noise. If not, I guess I'll re-record this after watching it later. But I want you to think of the biggest success stories in business in the last 50 years, right? And so let's take, for example, Starbucks, Instagram, Facebook, Google, you know, YouTube, right, whatever. And I want you to think of, like, would you have invested in any of these companies at the idea stage, right? If you're talking about Disneyland, right, Netflix, if you can explain to me the concept of Starbucks, right? Please leave a comment, you know, why Starbucks is an amazing idea. Let's say Starbucks did not exist today, right? I would love for you to explain to me why it's a really amazing investment opportunity, right? Same goes for YouTube, Facebook, all these applications, right? They did not have a business plan. YouTube was losing money, Twitter was still losing money, and it came to shutting down very often throughout their journey. Even though it seems like a big company, people don't know how much, like, they don't really have a business plan as such, right? Even today, to this day, for the most part, they're still looking for a business plan, right? 10, 15 years after being in business. Google did not have a business plan in the beginning. They had no idea how to make money. Facebook, you know, like MySpace had 100 million users on it, and Facebook was just for universities, right? So anyway, no matter what, Instagram, you know, Pinterest, you couldn't explain Pinterest to me even today, right? So the thing is, SpaceX, you know, Tesla Motors, all these companies, right? All of these companies are huge successes because they're outliers, right? Your uncle, who is very good at shutting down business ideas, would not have invested in any of the top 50 breakout success stories of the last century, right? Your parents, you know, if they are the kind of people who would shoot down business ideas wouldn't have either. Your best friend, the entrepreneur you talk to, the CEO friend you talk to for advice on your business idea, he or she probably also would not have invested in the most breakout ideas themselves, right? That is the way. Your outliers, big successes are outliers. They're not obvious. And so, if you really have conviction in your idea, I want to tell you something. Let's say you've had a meeting with somebody who really shut down your idea. They really, let's just tore it apart, right? And I've had that happen to me as well. And the most important thing to understand is that, it doesn't take a genius to be a naysayer, right? See, 9 out of 10 startups fail, right? 90% startups fail. And in fact, 95%, 99% fail to achieve any success whatsoever. They don't fail, but they don't, blow up either, right? So, saying that a particular business idea is not going to work is a statement with a 99% probability of being correct, right? So, when you're playing a game where 99% of the time you win, then betting on the default hand, which is, of course every startup is bad. Of course every startup idea is stupid by default. Most startup ideas don't work. It doesn't make you a fucking genius to predict that this idea is not going to work, right? What you're looking for is the one person who goes against the crowd and talks about the 1% of reason why it could work, what could be done to make this idea work, right? That is a rare skill. That's the kind of person you want to talk to, right? So just keep that in mind. It doesn't take a genius to be a naysayer, and that also goes for you. If you are somebody who has ever shut down somebody's idea or poo-pooed them, oh, it's not gonna work, whatever, I don't think you have a shot or whatever like that, right? I just want you to think you're not being a genius, okay, when you do that. You're not helping them, you're adding no value. You're adding no value to the conversation. And just look at your life again. What are you really doing? The most valuable person is he who can find solutions to problems, not the person who can just point out problems, right? So unless somebody finds a structural problem in the idea that you have, right? Like a structural mistake, whoa, this simply cannot be done because of a regulation that is not going to change. It's downright illegal or whatever, right? Okay, that's a structural problem. Or something like, this technology doesn't actually work the way you think it is, right? The date, it's not proven that this technology actually works. It actually, for example, in the case of Theranos, right? The big biotech company that went bust. The technology didn't work. Now that's a structural weakness, but it's not I don't think there's demand for it, there's too much competition, people will make it illegal, or this regulation will come out eventually, the big competitors will crush you down, you run out of money, all these what if scenarios, right? Those are bullshit. You don't have to worry about those. Unless there's a structural mistake that somebody points out, don't listen to them. And if somebody's just talking about all the reasons why it could not work or why you're not the right person to do it, that's also stupid, right? Elon Musk is not a rocket scientist by degree, okay? The people who built Twitter, the people who built Uber, Airbnb, Google, whatever, you don't need a fucking certificate from somebody that you're allowed to build a business, right? So I guess I hope this helps you if you have dealt with that, whether it's your parents or your extended family, your friends or colleagues or whatever, your boss, your investors. Just keep keep fighting the good fight, keep going in the direction you want to go. Just do your own thing and don't listen to anybody else. Okay? That would be my advice to you. And I hope I want it to be like my intent for making a video like this is that I wish there had been more people like myself in my circle, right? I wish I knew more people who would tell me that, hey, don't listen to anybody else, do your own thing. Here are 5 reasons why this would be an amazing idea. Just focus on those. You know, startups are default dead. If you stop hustling, your startup is dead as well. You know, so every startup is dead by default, and the only reason they do succeed is not because of some factor. It's because you make them succeed, right? You fight against entropy, and you fight against the default to reshape the universe or a certain piece of the universe in your own way, right? You're literally molding the universe against its will. And so every startup is a failure by default unless you make it successful, right? That's what makes us entrepreneurs. So if you don't have any naysayers for your idea, where you can just, you know, wake up and the startup is successful by itself, that's not going to happen ever. And those companies are not breakout successes, right? Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking now. I hope it helps. And take care and keep fighting. Cheers.